I'm Anna.
And I'm Melissa.
And we're the Try Gals.
So first, we chose this topic because we think it's really interesting how we think that we're fully aware and paying attention in our day-to-day lives when really we're not.
And a lot of the times we think that our memory is photographic, when in fact it's actually pretty faulty. How are we supposed to make an accurate eyewitness identification, for example, if we don't even notice two people changing right in front of us?
So today we're going to be seeing if the idea of change blindness is fact or fiction.
We are going to myth bust change blindness, and we're going to do it because according to Murphy and Murphy in 2017, change blindness is defined as the inability to detect obvious changes in a scene. So for example, the experiment we're going to be replicating today is based off of one that's already been done before. So one of the main studies that we're basing our experiment off of was one done by Simmons and Levin in 1998. So basically, an experimenter went on campus with a campus map and went up to unsuspecting pedestrians and asked them for a direction to a building on campus. And so the pedestrian and the experimenter had a clear view of everything and were walking down a sidewalk together. And then two other experimenters walked through the two of them carrying a large door. This was about 10 or 15 seconds after they had been talking for a bit, and separated the two. And then the experimenters switched places. So the pedestrian was now talking to a new experimenter, and they were trying to decide if they noticed the change in the person. And so it showed that about 7 out of 15 people noticed a change, which was around 46% of people.
So another one of our studies that we looked over was a study by Murphy in 2017. They had 103 participants. So basically what they did was they had them walk into like an office type scene, and then there was low perceptual load and high perceptual load. The low perceptual load had nothing on the table, nothing on the backdrop, just completely blank. And they found that under the low perceptual load, 71% of participants detected change, but with the high perceptual load, which was just like a cluttered desk and so many decorations and everything, only 52% of them detected change, so 39% failed to detect the change. Also in the Murphy study in 2017, they found that high perceptual load equals the reduced awareness of irrelevant stimuli, resulting in intentional blindness for easily visible objects. So what we're going to be doing is just replicating the first experiment that we talked about. So one of us is going to go up to a pedestrian on the campus and ask them for directions to Ordway. While that's happening, they're going to be looking, giving us directions, and the other person's going to rudely interrupt them with a big TV box. And then while we switch places and they keep telling us directions, we're going to see if they notice the switch.
If the ideas behind change blindness are correct, the pedestrian should not notice a difference between me and Alyssa switching places. So now you're going to watch recordings of our actual experiment to see what happens.
Hi, excuse me, do you know how to get to Ordway by any chance? So you're just going to go right down here and then turn right up the stairs, and then once you keep going, it'll be on the right. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, you're welcome. Have a good one. Hi, can you give me directions to Ordway?
Yeah, okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to continue going straight, and as you continue going straight, you're going to turn right shortly, and then you're going to turn left, and then you'll be there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're
Have a great
welcome.
day.
Bye.
Hi, excuse me, do you know how to get to Ordway?
Yeah, so you're gonna want to walk down that big pathway right here. Just like keep going really straight down that way. Yep, and then you'll see like a pizza shop, and then there's this really old building like right next to it, connected by these walkways, and like that's where we're gonna be.
Alright, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Bye.
Do you know how to get to Ordway?
Ordway? Yeah, so you're going to go down this way.
Okay.
You're going to kind of go past the field house, and then you're going to keep going straight until you go past the sports center, and then you're going to take right.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Have a
You're
great rest of your
welcome.
day.
So what you just saw was a replication of the Simmons and Levin study from 1998. This was a change blindness experiment. We decided to go out on campus and see if we could replicate the results as previously discussed studies.
So Anna and I wore the same shirt, jeans, and sandals, and the only thing that we did differently was our hair. We went out to 2 different areas on campus and asked students for directions to Ordway.
So while a student was giving us directions, one of us was behind a large TV box, and we would walk right through the 2 people talking, and we would replace each other. So if Alyssa was talking to the person, I would be behind the box, and we'd switch places, and vice versa. And what we found was that most of the people did not notice that we changed places at all. Some people looked a little confused, but a good majority of the time the people didn't notice that we were different people.
So why is this important, and why are we even doing this? It's important because this just shows how easily our minds and our eyes are tricked, even if we think that we're paying attention, and shows how it's happening in everyday life. This also shows how dangerous it can be in the real world.
For example, with eyewitnesses specifically, You can think you are paying attention to someone 100%, like you could recognize them, pick them out of a lineup, when we have shown and other studies have shown that you don't even know and recognize when the person right in front of you that you are having a conversation with changes completely. Even if it's just the slightest thing, like in our experiment with the hair, you're still changing people. So how do you expect to be able to identify someone out of a lineup or give an accurate description to the police? And that's why eyewitness testimonies is so faulty in court.
So in conclusion, we know sometimes it can be difficult to notice changes, especially in our day-to-day lives. We have so much stuff going on and other things to worry about. So some tips are to try not to multitask, get off your phone and focus on the world around you. If someone comes up and talks to you, focus on like their voice or make eye contact.
Yeah, in the Simmons and Levin study from 1998, the person had a map, and so the pedestrian was focused on the map rather than the actual person and their attributes, which is why they didn't detect the change. So we've proven here that change blindness is a fact.